That's what seniority's all about, Dwayno. And I reckon you might be right. Garrick Ibbotson might be the man. He's a terrific young talent for Freo. He's a good athlete. He's a tall midfielder too, so he can run. He's got a great tank, and that'll be a great matchup, a great lesson for him if he gets the job of running with Adam Goods.
And Matthew Pavlich, it looks like he's going to start in the midfield.
And Goods starting forward, so they're going with the big guns, Hall and Goods in the forward line.
Richards has gone to Tarrant.
And looks like Lewis Roberts-Thompson was the one looking for Pavlich, and he's just waiting outside the square now for him to come out.
Yep.
The two captains on each other at the moment, Pavlich and Kirk, so that would be a good battle. Umpires tonight, Damien Sully, Justin Schmidt and Michael Avon. This is 4th versus 12th on the AFL ladder, but it's 12th that is the team in form. Poor bounce to start. Sandlin's thumped it. And Johnson left it behind, but got himself a free kick, Mark Johnson.
And it is, in fact, Chris Mayne that has got the job on Adam Goods and already running Goods up to the other end of the ground.
Another one of the exciting youngsters for the Dockers.
Straight down the middle, Mark Johnson to McFarlane, who's hot. Last week he was sensational. Unlucky not to win the Ross Glendinning medal last week in the Derby. And the kick wide to Vest Premi is good from Matner. And Crouch dragged over the boundary line with a sensational tackle by Roger Hayden, who's back into the Fremantle lineup this week. Roger Hayden.
It's good to see Jared Crouch back in the team. Last week he's just played the one game in about the last 12 months, so a big bonus for the Sydney Swans to get that experience back in.
Ryan Crowley, the man running with Ryan O'Keefe. They'll cover some territory. In fact, O'Keefe just went down off the ball before, and it was Chris Tarrant that knocked him down, and a few words were said off camera, so a little bit of niggle already between some of the players.
Umpires down.
And no one getting the ball out. Marcus Drum laying the tackle, the late inclusion for Fremantle. You've just joined us, Anthony Grover out, and for Sydney, Barry out and Ablett in. Just the umpire going down, and in the middle of it, Justin Schmidt.
Tripped over the back of Lewis Roberts-Thompson, who's gone to Matty Pavlich now.
And Sandlin's ripped it out of the air, and he gets the free, had hold of his arm.
But he kicked the ball and it was smothered by Jared McVeigh's head, which on a cold night's not great.
Tarrant. Mundy. Centering kick is good. Big fly goes up. Campbell had it stolen from him by Paul Bevan.
Jeez, that was good work to go back into a dangerous area. Back with the fly of the ball and took a very good contested mark.
Kennelly to Jolly. The 1-2 back to Kennelly. Doesn't want to give it to a one-on-one. Wants to maintain possession. Richards about to get caught. Back to Kennelly.
Advantage.
Okay, you heard. Advantage, according to the umpire. Jude Bolton's got it. Hands off to Bevan. Crowded forward line, heads wide. Good option. Crouch can't take the mark, though. Mayne tucked into the boundary, sees it out. And we'll get a ball in. Jared Moore, also back in this week. Didn't play in that loss to the Dogs last week. Jared Moore.
Just going to be a big test for Lewis Roberts-Thompson playing in the midfield on Matty Pavlich, who chases the ball now.
Kicks it off the deck and misses Johnson with it. Bevan, chip, Kirk takes the mark. 60 from goal. Barry Hall leads short. Now he's heading back to the square. Kirk goes short. Vest Premi dropped the mark and drags it out of play. Just in game 2, though, Pat Vest Premi, and he is going to be a star. He's a good young player. Had an outstanding season in the under-18 competition, the TAC Cup, last year. In fact, he kicked 8 goals in one game last year, and he was unstoppable. And kicked 1 goal 4 last week in his opening game. He's a more accurate kick than that. Moore gives off to Kennelly. Chip kick, Barry Hall took the pack with him, almost the mark. Jude Bolton met high, gets the free.
The massive Fremantle Dockers players have got behind the ball and just blocking up the forward 50, making it very difficult for when any of the forwards, as we saw when Barry Hall led then, he was leading into traffic.
Barry Hall again, 3 to beat. Goods makes it 2-on-3. Barry Hall about to get run down by Shammer. Caught. Ibbotson. Carr. Goods tackle was Goods. Hall. Ibbotson cut it off. Kirk dumped. He was face planted and didn't get a free. Have to pick the grass from his teeth.
Well, Barry Hall has got Michael Johnson as an opponent.
Free kick off the ball there
to Josh Carr.
That's unusual. Must have been the retaliator got caught, Dwayne.
I was going to say, a fair chance they didn't see it.
Are we being harsh there?
You're unkind. Ball about to roll out of play. Josh Carr does have form, I'll accept that. In fact, he's got form against just about every team in the comp. He was fined $3,000 for wrestling Eamon Buchanan here a couple of years ago, Josh Carr, and he had that overturned when he appealed it, so he's not always guilty. Boundary line looming for Kirk. Mundy tries to wrap him up. O'Keefe steals it. Moore runs into traffic. Matner. Bolton. McVeigh. Nice movement. Jolly. Hands inside 50. It was an advantage, so it'll come back. Umpire yelled advantage, thinking that it was. But obviously he wasn't committed to that decision. It comes back to McVeigh, who chips to Matner. 50 from goal. 3 goals, 3 this year, Martin Matner, so hasn't had many opportunities with the big sticks. This for the first score of the night.
They should get the distance. A difficult pocket for a left footer.
New pocket, new grandstand, not yet opened in that pocket, so he bends that back a little bit, but not enough, and Sandilands has the reach to knock it through. First score of the night.
Some good signs for the Fremantle Dockers. I think their chasing, their tackling intensity has been right up, and at the same time I think the Swans' intentions are clear. They want to get possession of the ball and play on at all opportunities.
Thornton from Hayden to Michael Johnson. Short. And a well-directed kick to Tarrant. To Pavlich. Plays on immediately, thumps it to the square. Mark Johnson down there, Campbell almost the crumb. Lewis Roberts-Thompson manhandled. No free, O'Keefe shrugs one tackle to LRT, to Craig Bolton. They get out of trouble, Jude Bolton. Open forward line ahead. He goes back to Craig Bolton to Jolly. And now Barry Hall in a one-on-one with Johnson. Got it, but maybe beyond his range. Knows it and spears to Brennan.
Well, the advantage that Barry Hall's got over Michael Johnson is strength, and you could see Johnson trying to stay off him. He wants to run and jump and spoil the ball, but he just got there a little bit too early, and you could see Barry Hall work him underneath it, just push him off it. He's a good athlete, Johnson, but he doesn't want to get in body-on-body wrestling with Barry Hall.
That was a result of good, quick ball movement into the forward line just to get it over the back of Barry Hall's direct opponent.
Just the 1 goal this year. Luke Brennan gets under that a little. Adam Goods with 3 to beat. And the palm down finds Pavlich, Thornton, Shammer, coming off an outstanding game last week as well. Nice possession getter for Fremantle in that derby win.
Good option.
To Pavlich to Thornton.
They're on in the middle if you can switch it.
Drum. Open forward line ahead of him as well. Sandlands, Thornton, Ibbotson. That's a 60-metre thump to the square. Grundy gets back, put a fist on the ball. Mark Johnson plays for the free, didn't get it. And scores a level.
We just saw there, with the Fremantle Dockers going long, there was plenty of Sydney Swans defenders just to knock the ball over their defensive goal line, and likewise at the other end. Big numbers back for the Dockers, so very hard to get an effective disposal inside 50 for the Sydney Swans.
Moore can get and go here. Looks up, space in front, has a bounce, centering kick. Brennan flew, but Michael Johnson beat him to it. Hands off to Main. Heads wide. McFarlane comes a long way down to get a possession. Fremantle's leading goal scorer last week with 5 in that derby win. And the fist out of play.
Disappointing kick from McFarlane. The one thing you've got to do with Chris Tarrant, his strength is his speed. So if you're going to miss the kick, miss it out in front of him, not where he's got a prop, and have his opponent Ted Richards come over the top.
The 2 ruckman tie-up. Jolly and Sandlands don't get a chance to go at it. Matner locks up Carr. Dodd, Pavlich. Chip wide, Campbell again flies, gets one for too high. Against Grundy.
Well, in the absence of Leo Barry, Heath Grundy's the extra tool that's had to play down back, and you can just see the right arm going straight over the top of the shoulder of Adam Campbell.
Just his 2nd game this year, Adam Campbell. Had a few injury woes that have dogged him for most of his career.
Got about 2 metres.
2nd game of the year, and chance to kick his 1st goal of the season. Adam Campbell, the Kiwi, starts it left. That's beautiful off the boot. It swings late. And it's only behind.
It's those fat posts again, Dwayne.
Again.
Get a massive number of hit the post points up here. Here for the last game for the Sydney Swans against Adelaide Crows is about 10.
Turnover, Duffield. Not a lot to kick to. Sees Campbell running back to the square. Made it tough for him. Still gets a fly at it, but forces the fist down. Madner, McVeigh, Craig Bolton, and Rutcher behind, and that's the option he takes. Yeah, you'd think the posts and the padding would be the same size at all grounds, wouldn't you?
Just in the square, thanks.
These just get hit very often.
Well, they are fatter than every other ground, but Jolly having a rest. Almost a battle to see who is the All-Australian ruck for the year. Aaron Sandlin's beat Dean Cox in the Derby last week, so he's got the advantage there over the man who's been All-Australian the last 3 years.
He has, and Kepler Bradley's the man that's come off the bench to give Sandlands a spell, and he'll just try and run with Everett, you'd imagine.
Kirk got it from Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Gives to Kennelly. Jude Bolton. And now Goods in a one-on-one with Main. The old and the young, and Goods, the old head wins.
Well, the idea's right. If you've got a young bloke there that isn't quite as tall as Adam Goods, drag him deep. Adam Goods is starting out of the goal square. He's got young Chris Main, who started the game well. He's worked off Goods a couple of times and run forward, but you can see he's outsized. But it only works, that size difference, if you can get one-on-one contests, a long, quick, high ball in, so Goods can use the advantage.
Very similar to the Barry Hall mark.
Yep.
The ball use, delivery of the ball from the defensive 50 was quick, and it was to the one-on-one contest as you described.
Played 11 goalless minutes so far in this game, and we are still goalless. Adam Goods misses.
Hang on.
2 balls on the ground, as you can see.
Hang on, just gotta hold it, hold it.
It is a tough position as a defender to be caught under the ball, and especially for a youngster with an experienced campaigner like Adam Goods. Maybe just off the shoulder on the defensive side might be a better option, but the ball did come in quick. He didn't have too much say in that contest.
Mundy to Tarrant, who made the ground and was made to earn it. To Pavlich. Just with the outside of the foot to Michael Johnson.
Good running.
50 from goal. Goal square. Campbell again. Held up in the fly attempt. Bevan smothered. Ibbotson well played. Tackled by Bevan. Both did extremely well there. And the umpire will bounce it on the behind line. He's not allowed to bring this in to the field of play. He must bounce it where it lay. Well, he brings it in 2 metres. Well, there you go. It's how much I know. Mark Johnson makes something of it. Kirk hands to Bevan, and they rush it behind.
Another example of good forward pressure. Mark Harvey would be very happy with the pressure of his forwards are putting on the Swans defenders.
Crouch. Play on immediately. Sells the dummy to Dodd. Tough one. Impossible kick for Goods. And Main mops it up. On the rebound, Kepler Bradley back with the flight. Oh, he runs straight through Peter Everett. Thumps it long to the square. It might go all the way. It's there.
Cross the line. All clear.
You heard it. The Dockers get the first.
Well, we spoke a moment ago. He's playing as the second ruckman. He's a tall utility, Kepler Bradley, former Essendon player. Mark Harvey would know him well. He started on the bench when Everett came on to relieve Jolly. So did Bradley to relieve Sandlands, and that was a pretty feeble attempted tackle from Peter Everett. And nothing worse than letting your opponent just get through that. Just went with the one arm, and that's a terrific finish. A good start for Kepler Bradley.
2 goals last week. Kepler Bradley in a return to some form and thrown straight into the ruck here against Everett. He'll be hoping to do a little better than his last tackle. A little tap. Carr. Pavlich doing well in the middle.
Big numbers, up to 7 disposals.
Ibbotson got a hand-free. Shammer left it behind. McVeigh stole it. Nice one. Bird spears toward Barry Hall. Johnson was right with him. Dodd, boundary line looming.
Yeah, I like the way Michael Johnson's approaching his task against Barry Hall. He's trying to cut off the lead-up lane, trying to play from in front. He's got the speed and athleticism to do it.
Sure if you knew those blokes over the boundary there, Jason, but they're enjoying themselves. McVeigh. Chip kick to Hall. Got there. Everyone else looked around.
Well, Michael Johnson dropped off 5 metres because there were 2 other Freo players in the vicinity, but no one tracked the footy. They all stood around and watched.
Thanks, boys. Clear it out. Ryan Crowley.
Returned to some form last week. Barry Hall late in that loss to the Bulldogs. 3 goals
Boys,
last
Chris,
week.
line out. Chris.
Good use of the ball from Jared Moore in heavy traffic.
Just up to it.
So no angle. Distance shouldn't worry him. Nice off the boot. Barry Hall and the Swans are on the board.
An extremely important reply for the Sydney Swans, because I'm pretty happy with the Fremantle Dockers. Their work rate at the moment. They've had a few shots on goals, the Swans, but just from long range, as that one was. But that was smart use of the ball from a quality young midfielder. And Barry Hall, he's been involved in the play an enormous amount in this early stage of the game. And to have a goal, it'll help his confidence, and it'll help the confidence of his teammates that the big forwards switched on tonight.
Took them 15 minutes to get there first, but they've got it, the Swans. And the ball up. Everett with a palm down. Jude Bolton lays a half tackle. No free. Crouch collects. Heads towards Vance Primi. Held up as the mark taken by Duffield.
And Duffield's the loose man in defence for the Fremantle Dockers, and he starts around centre-half back position but looks to where the lead from deep in the forward line is directed, and he'll chop it off each time.
Thornton.
I like the way they're trying to move the ball quickly, the Dockers, trying to play on whenever they can.
O'Keefe gets back, takes on Crouch, hands to Kirk, put him under some pressure. Craig Bolton, nice pass to Jack. Now Barry Hall's in a one-on-one, and so is Adam Goods. Goods will fly, got it, plays on, and will goal, gives Sydney the lead.
All clear. Just watch a little cheap shots, all right? You see it?
Well, once again, just got his opponent underneath the footy. Now, you can understand Chris Mayne not wanting to play from behind because he's giving away 6 inches, but when the high ball comes down there and he's caught under it, he's going to be in trouble. Just a subtle nudge. Thought maybe Michael Johnson could have been a little bit harder coming over the top to help out his teammate there, Lynchy.
It would have been handy, but from my point of view, as a former full-back, in that situation, I'd like to see the youngster play from behind and get the support. He's got the loose man defence for the lead.
Back into the team this week, Adam Goods. Missed last week with a groin that has dogged him all year. And a massive job for Chris Mayne in game 14 in season 1 of his career, up against the 2-time Brownlow medalist Pavlich. Ibbotson, and that's a wobbler inside 50. Tough ball, getting back Bevan, body on the line. Mark Johnson collects him, he searches for the boundary. Johnson gets there first. Centering kick to Crowley, a half volley, played for the free and didn't get it, and now caught but got to his feet, so it won't be holding the ball, it'll be a ball up. Had he stayed on the deck, he was dead.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks.
Huge numbers around this stoppage. Aaron Sandilands will look to hit a midfield runner outside this stoppage.
Jolly stole it from him, kicks toward the boundary, and the umpire says that was okay. It wasn't deliberate.
Boys, eyes up, face the footy, face the footy.
Bit of coaching from the umpire there.
No holding, don't hold, go the ball.
Go the ball, no holding.
Play on.
Sandlands, the swipe down.
Play on.
Pavlich couldn't quite collect it. Tackle laid by Brown.
My footy, no, mate, attempt to get it out.
Tough man to tackle, Brett Kirk.
Eyes up. Just watch off the ball, boys.
Oh, another player's gone down off the ball, just as the umpire was warning people. Sandlands to full forward. It clean bowls a couple and hits the post.
They got the chance here to get a quick exit out the other side of the ground.
Kennelly kicks to himself. He's got Ablett on short and with the outside of the foot, clever.
Play on, you're in front of your mark now.
Ablett back to Richards.
Play on. You, mate.
Craig Bolton.
Mine.
Brennan or Barry Hall. Brennan with the big fly and Hall to the back should stroll in.
Has paid the kick,
Oh, that'll be...
paid the push against Barry Hall.
Well, isn't there a 50?
He's giving Barry the benefit of the doubt that he didn't know.
Well, he blew the whistle 7 times while he was running in to have the shot for goal, and then he kicked it sideways across the face of goal. That has to be 50.
I think he saved Barry Hall some embarrassment there. Why didn't go a goal, I'm not sure. Johnson, Crowley. And a nice mark taken by McFarlane. Hayden. Held up.
Thanks, Brett. Where you are, yes. Where you standing, thanks, Brett.
Hayden takes some time. Might back himself in. Hasn't kicked a goal this year. In fact, he hasn't scored this year, Roger Hayden. He's only kicked 7 goals in his 91-game career. So a rare opportunity to show him how it's done. Touched on the line, and Kepler-Bradley might have scored from the line. He likes it. Fremantle in front.
Well, he's just been an inspired substitution. Kepler-Bradley, he's come on, kicked a couple of goals. Now he goes off and has a spell. That has been absolutely brilliant. You couldn't ask for anything more from a backup ruckman. He's just he's almost your sacrifice ruckman. Your tall, big bloke that's just there to back up Sandlands, who'll do 70% of the ruck work. Come on and give a contest. He positioned himself very cleverly. He knew it was going to drop short, so why not put yourself between the goal line and the footy? And if they try to rush it, you're a chance to get it, and that's what he did.
Not only a goal, but a drop kick goal from Kepler-Bradley, and the drop kick hasn't been seen for quite a while. Have a look at this.
Not since you were playing, Dwayne.
Here we go.
Oh, yes, very nice. But that's a big win for Mark Harvey. You got the part-timer, and as you touched on, Jace, you put him into the ruck to make a good contest and hope he doesn't get hurt too much the other way. But he's been able to kick 2 goals and put pressure on the midfield of the Sydney Swans.
Sandlands took it out of the air, and Richards is hurt. He's down and slowly getting to his feet as Brown was pushed in the back on the kick, and Matner takes the mark. There's Primmy. Bevan. Chip kick. Jolly. Front spot. Can't mark though. 3 Dockers come at him. Mundy. Hands off to Mark Johnson. Almost through the legs. Brown got it from Tarrant. Hands to Drum. Centering kick good. Duffield. He can go all the way. Centering kick instead. High ball. McFarlane a couple to beat. Spoils to his own advantage. Ibbotson. Little fumble. And that was enough to put him under pressure. And the kick inside 50, a tough one for everyone. Bevan read it okay and relieves the pressure nicely. Well, the outer side.
They had the numbers down back Sydney, and now you've got Freo with the numbers here, except
goods from Brennan.
They are so good at isolating contests up forward when they move it quickly, Sydney, and that's what they're trying to do. Is even though they're outnumbered, that was friendly fire. I think it was Craig Bolton that collected his teammate Ted Richards, but he just peeled off to the side and they found the one-out contest. It was 4 against 2 in defence. Freo had 4 against Sydney's 2, but they found this isolated contest once again.
Once again, the young defenders are playing in front of the Sydney Swans. They've got to play from behind. The Sydney Swans forwards are pushing right up the ground and running back.
Opens up the angle. Brings it back a little. Touched on the line, still in play. Barry Hall tries to take them all on a shrug. A tackle, can't. And Michael Johnson gets it from Shammer. Gives to Drum. Palmer, Drum, Ibbotson. Kick half smothered. Tarrant threw that away as he was tackled. Dropped it, play on. Advantage for Sydney. And the big long launch from Vest Primmy. Duffield gets back and touches it through. Behind. Peak. Carr took the step. Dodd. Bounce pass. Hayden. Not a lot to go to. Only one-on-ones. Sandlands with the reach and plucks it.
Good option in the end from Roger Hayden. He didn't have a lot, Dwayne. You called it well, but he saw the big bloke. He's passed it off.
Hands off to Mundy, who sends it to the goal square. Swans with numbers, and they can't beat Pavlich. Hands to Tarrant. Goals. Only just. But it's there.
That was a fantastic mark in a contested situation. Fremantle Dockers were outnumbered 1-3 there, and once again, you see that great mark from the 7-foot ruckman. There's not a lot the Sydney Swans defender could do on that occasion. Dishes it off, but this is where...
It's not a great kick from Mundy. No, in actual fact, it's a poor kick.
But it goes to a situation here, once again taking defensive position, or back positions with Matthew Pavlich, and you very rarely see the Sydney Swans in that sort of position. They normally play from behind.
22 goals for the season for Chris Tarrant in game 198. Plays his 200th in a couple of weeks against the Tigers. Free kick against Jolly. Sandlands winning the battle.
Well, both ruckmen, Kepler, Bradley and Sandlands, have been very effective in this first quarter.
Carr with the bomb. Bevan with the fly, couldn't mark it. Kennelly, handball made it tough for Grundy, who forced to give it back. There's a way of getting 2 stats. Grundy, make that 3 stats. Kennelly. Matner.
Jolly's in the space if they can get it to him quickly.
Roberts-Thompson. Kennelly, 4 possessions in this string of play, Ty Kennelly.
And that's number 10.
Overall, Kirk. Bevan, nice move. Goods is on the move. Might head back to the square. He's short. He's ignored. Chip kick from Best Premi, poor. Touch, play on. Hayden. Ibbotson. Now the Dockers on the rebound. Drum. Pavlich.
Number 10 for Pavlich, being very good, just basically having a rest up at centre half forward after some very good work through the midfield in the first half of this quarter.
Ross Glendinning medalist from last week's Derby. Matthew Pavlich, an outstanding game last week, set up that victory. Here is Aaron Sandlands. 3 clearances in the last 15 minutes. Heading ever closer to that first All-Australian jumper for him. McFarlane overread it. There's Premi. Set it up for Moore, made it tough for him. Dropped it. And McFarlane lays the tackle. Every player turns around looking for the umpires to say, well, come on, have you got a whistle? 23 plays 15, 1:45 left in the term. Jolly fell and almost got a kick. Almost gave a free away. Was a free.
Almost kicked Palmer.
Kicking in danger, which is the old interpretation of the rule. Palmer. And that's a kick for Pavlich, who flies. Craig Bolton. Had a fair piece of that, Matthew Pavlich. Barry Hall now. A one-on-one with Johnson. Ibbotson. Time ticks. Hall. Bolton. Moore. Gets the snap away from the pocket. Across the face. And you're behind. Jared Moore.
No closer, Adam. That's great. No closer.
This is 4th versus 12th on the AFL ladder. Sydney Swans desperate for a victory. Lost 4 of their past 5 games, Sydney. And the Dockers coming off 3 wins in a row and playing like a confident team at the moment, Fremantle. Tarrant edged off it. In the dying seconds of this opening term, Bevan set a good first term. It was possession number 9 to Matner. One last chance for the Swans to score. Wide ball. Vespremi got there, missed the mark, tried to hand up to McVeigh. To his own advantage, does well, keeps his feet. O'Keefe. Kennelly. Short pass to Jolly, gets a touch back on Sandlands. Won't know how long left. One last chance for a mark.
A couple of Dockers slow getting back to fill the space up here.
It's a long thump in the Hall direction. Got a hand on it. Palmer, Drum, Duffield, Hayden, and that should be enough for Fremantle to go into quarter time with a lead. Good opening term for the Dockers. They've lost their past 8 games here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. It wasn't quite the 9-goal start they had in the Derby last week, Fremantle, but it's good enough to give them an advantage at the first change. 3-5-23 for the Sydney Swans, 2-4-16.
That's where you would have thought Craig Bolton may have been the option, capable of going up into the midfield, but on the flip side of that, Sydney Swans want their best defender in that defensive half of the ground just to shore up things down back.
So Jolly, Kirk, McVeigh and Jude Bolton in the centre square for the opening bounce here for Sydney. Aaron Sandlands with Shammer and Pavlich and Duffield for the opening bounce to start this second term. And Fremantle win it, although that was almost a throw from Sandlands to Pavlich. They got away with it. Free kick from the wing.
Just against Marty Matner. We heard from the umpire there. Reece Palmer into the play again.
Palmer to Sandlands.
He hasn't had a problem since making his debut in finding the football, Reece Palmer, that's for sure.
On cue, gets it again. Kick smothered though. That hurt Matner. Goes back in, gets it regardless. Hands off to Moore. Open forward line. Jude Bolton.
Good vision.
Vespremi calls for it back towards the square. Really had to motor and got there.
It's terrific vision from Jared Moore because he streamed forward and a lot of players would have just blazed it long forward into the open space, but he knew there were no Swans players there, so he looked laterally and he found Jude Bolton.
Well, he started his career with 1 goal, 5. Patrick Vespremi won 4 of them last week. And that was beautiful off the boot.
That was a class goal from the youngster Patrick Vespremi. He's struggled with injury this year. Has a good dose of osteitis pubis and only played the 8 games in reserves, as we see the Marty Matner smother, which caused the turnover. And Vespremi was powering towards open space in the forward line. All the Swans players had pushed right up the ground with their opposition and just ran into some space and thought his way through this shot on goal very well. And he's certainly a noted goal kicker.
First game at the Sydney Cricket Ground for Pat Vespremi. Made his debut in Canberra with that 17 possession game and the loss to the Dogs last week. Bounced to restart it and Jolly had it but lost it to Shammer. So close. Mark Johnson likewise can't get it out. Bevan steals it and we'll get a jump ball in the middle.
Going head to head, Byron Shammer and Jared McVeigh. McVeigh, the 6-goal hero from last week, just the 6 possessions. Shammer just 3, so no impact from either of them.
And Shammer with the most possessions in that derby last week, so both in sparkling form. Head to head. Drum to Shammer, who wins this, although kick cut off. Bevan, free kick against Carr for a high one, and I think Carr hurt himself.
He might have corked himself as well.
Paul Bevan. Oh, Kirk's free. Somehow at half forward, all on his own. Hands it off to Matner. Little 1-2 was on, make that a 1-2-3. Matner thumps it towards full forward. Big fly and a push out, Brennan. Doesn't get the free.
Just got worked under it, didn't he?
He did. Crowley
on either way.
Took the mark.
Move it on, play on. You, mate.
Thornton.
Here they go, trying to play on again, as we heard Peter German say they want to move the ball quickly, Freo.
McFarlane left it behind. Roberts Thompson to Kennelly. Possession number 12. A short pass to Bevan. He's got a couple of options. Long inside 50. Heads long. Big leap. Moore. Stolen from him by Barry Hall.
Well, it's given it against Jared Moore for the early jump, and he didn't lay a glove on the ball. So the umpire's deemed a free kick.
Just the push out of Luke Brennan just getting worked under the ball, and here's Jared Moore going a little early. Used the hand to get up there as well. And it's a shame because Barry was positioned perfectly to take it.
Pavlich plays on quickly to Hayden. Bouncing ball. Brilliance from Bolton. Thumped it away and out of play. A loss for him, even though it's a win for Sydney. We'll get a ball in. 23 plays 22. Two ruckmen tie up again. Jolly this time wins. Thumps it down. Palmer left it behind. Drum, Sandlands, Pavlich. To half forward. Race on. McFarlane got there, but the fist wins out from Craig Bolton. Mark Johnson.
Numbers everywhere.
Good vision.
To Brown. Half volley. Handball smothered. Well played, Grundy. Stole it and they get away with it. Certain goal averted there. Matner all the way to Crouch, and they've got the spare man. Held up though, Crouch. Barry Hall calls for it long. He goes short. McVeigh. Little two juggle. Hall back to the square. High kick. Goods.
On that occasion, and we'll see it on replay, Chris Mayne looked for body contact. He took his eyes off the footy because Lynchy played in front. He tried to put the arms across the front of Adam Goods, and all Adam Goods did was sidestep around him. Here's the mistake from Brown. He had options on. He tried to go over the top, needed to go round to the side of Grundy. Grundy too tall with the arms up, but Adam Goods just sidestepped his opponent, searching for body contact, and took an uncontested mark.
From directly out, Adam Goods has 2, and the Swans have the lead.
The question now, Lynch, is how long do you allow this matchup to continue? He's starting to get on top. He's kicked 2, should have 3, missed an easy shot in the first quarter, but every time it's been one-on-one, and you'll see it here, this is the kick that finds McVeigh. Then McVeigh, again, they identify the one-out contest with Goods. He just sidesteps him. You saw the stumble there from Mayne looking for contact. He felt nothing but fresh air.
Two goals now for Adam Goods. Lee Colbert on the boundary.
An injury concern for Fremantle. Josh Carr getting some treatment on a right groin, so not great news for the little midfielder.
No, bad news because they need his grunt in the middle. Sandlands to Pavlich to Shammer. Mark Johnson and Bevan. Mark Johnson stayed down with the spoil. Lewis Roberts-Thompson the reach. Tries to slip the handball out, but he's crunched, gang tackled.
Oh.
And holding the ball. Where was his prior opportunity there?
I'm not sure what the options were there.
There's been some red-hot decisions on holding the ball over the weekend. It looks like they've really tightened up on this interpretation.
But you must have prior opportunity. He had none.
He had a couple of words to say. He said, serious?
There was a game in Tasmania today where there was no prior opportunity and they just kept paying the decision all day.
Well, they better fix that. September's not far away.
This will take his best kick, Chris Tarrant.
Where you are, Luke.
They need a steadier, though, the Dockers, after Sydney have started the second quarter very well.
Already got one. They give Fremantle back the lead. It's short. It's a wobbler, and standing his ground, front of the pack, Ted Richards.
You always get amazed at how a long high ball gets marked on the chest in front of the pack, don't you?
Don't underestimate how strong that mark was. That's tough to do. The 1-2, Grundy and Craig Bolton. Now Crouch runs the corridor. Hands off to Bird. Thumps it long. New opponent for Adam Goods. Barry Hall. Well, if Lily don't get you, Tomo will.
Thornton's gone on to Goods. Michael Johnson's gone on to Goods on that occasion. It was Thornton on Hall. And no sooner do they change than Barry Hall comes into the picture.
Once again, it's the positioning of the defenders. Now, the Sydney Swans have been very useful when they can get the ball quickly out of the defensive 50, get it into their forward 50, and it's Goods and Hall running back with a fly to the ball and holding their opponents continually under the ball.
For his second, that was never in doubt. He clapped that as it hit his boot. Hall has 2.
It's a big surge by the Swans here. They've gone bang, bang, bang to start the second quarter, and all of a sudden, Freo under all sorts of pressure, Lynchy.
I think when you're playing a loose man defence and there's the opportunity to cut off the lead-in player with that loose man, you have to play as a defender behind. And you won't get caught in that sort of situation. Barry Hall and Adam Goods are running back with a fly of the ball. You've got to get behind them and hold them under the ball so they can't just take these easy contested marks they've been able to do in the first half of this game.
Two goals for Barry Hall. Starting to return to some form, as are the Swans. Their biggest lead of the game. Out to 11 points. Mark Johnson. Ibbotson. Heard the call. Touch play on. Tarrant. Tries to thread a handball out. Can't. Ablett had it but lost it. Still in there in the middle of it all. Ball up.
Get up. Straight up now.
Leo Barry unable to take his place in the side. Luke Ablett, who was dropped during the week, and a surprise, given a reprieve. Sandlands, big slap into the corridor. McFarlane had it but played for the free. Grabbed it back again. Or Kennelly, not in danger that time. Umpire paid one earlier. Didn't play that. We'll get a ball up.
Matthew Pavlich not happy with that decision. Just a few words to the umpire.
Golden position for a ball up here. Sandlands with a slap back. And how's that tackle read? Crouch leaned in. Crowley wrapped him. Okay, we'll get a ball up again.
Seeing this contested stoppage situation again, Sandilands is just trying to clear the stoppage to give his players the best chance.
Oh,
brilliant.
jolly to Palmer. He palmed it to Palmer and he goaled.
That is theft. He just read it beautifully. He's a natural midfielder. The one criticism of his game at this early stage is that he doesn't always use the ball as well as he can, but the hard part's getting it. And look at that. In front, read it, got to the right spot on the move, and then threw it on the boot and kicked a great goal.
He got rid of it very quick. That's a smart play from one of the real contenders for the Rising Star Award this year.
I think you're right, Lynchy. Odds-on favourite now for that NAB Rising Star Award. And his last couple of weeks has helped him immensely. He was rested for a week, given a spell from the seniors. He's been brought back in. And pick 7 from last year's draft. He's very close to winning that award, and he gets it again on cue. Can't shuffle it out for a takeaway this time. I'll get another ball up. Played 2 years of Teal Cup with Western Australia. Reece Palmer, and most of the good players do now play for their state in that under-17 competition 2 years in a row. Quick clearance, Barry Hall caught out of position. Michael Johnson takes the mark.
Well, they've made another change, and it looks like Stephen Dodd's the man that has the job on Adam Goods, and Johnson's gone back onto Hall.
Hayden. Tarrant.
Tarrant and Pavlich have had to get most of their possessions way up the field. I'm sure Mark Harvey would prefer they'll getting those marks inside 50.
Pavlich tackled just as he collected it by Lewis Roberts-Thompson. No prior opportunity that time, and the umpire got it right that time. We'll get a ball up.
Up to 14 possessions, Matthew Pavlich.
Sandlands and Jolly. Jolly with the hand down. But again, they take it away. Crowley, Carr back on. Pavlich, chip pass. Okay to Main. Might gather off hands. Does. Scoops. Kicks. Goals. Fremantle back in front.
It's a very important goal, personally speaking, for young Chris Main. Here's a guy that set one of the biggest tasks in football, play on Adam Goods to start the game. He's had a couple kicked against him and been moved, and that is one of the flattest feelings you can have as a player. But to get the opportunity to have an immediate contribution, he used his body well. All of a sudden, he had the opportunity to work someone under the footy. It worked for him. Then he picked up the loose ball and snapped it. Well done to the young fella. He's one of the promising young crew coming through for the Dockers. I think he's got a very, very bright future.
Back-to-back goals for 2 of their young stars, both taken out of last year's draft. Chris Main picked 40 last year, and as we said, Reece Palmer picked 7. They're back in front. Bradley kicks it sideways. Peak. Tarrant at half forward. Good fist from Ted Richards. Thumps it down and gathers his own work. Hands off towards Kirk. It's away from Mundy. Hunts him down. Moore left it behind. Didn't get the free. Tarrant. Peak got it from Shammer. And now high to Sandlands, who's got the reach. Good fist Grundy again. Knocks it down, but Hayden steals. Carr. Tarrant. Lead comes from Pavlich. It's in his direction. Can't get there to attempt the mark, and it bounces its way out of play. Ball in.
Well, Kepler Bradley has come into the ruck against Peter Everett, and big Aaron Sandilands has pushed a full forward. It's just to really stretch the Swans' defence.
Bradley, a short throw in, beats Everett, kicks it inside 50. Mark Johnson steals to Duffield, rolls it home. 3 in a row for the Dockers.
So there right now, Lynchy, what's happening is they're matching up the ruck changes very, very well, Freo, and Kepler Bradley is giving Peter Everett a touch-up. He grabbed that out of the ruck at the boundary throw, and he was the one, Kepler Bradley, that centred the ball that resulted in the Duffield goal. That's after kicking 2 goals in the first quarter.
And once again, if you can have your pinch-hitting ruckman cutting up the opposition ruckman, it's a massive bonus.
Just the second goal of the season for Paul Duffield. Game number 8 for the year for him. And suddenly the Sydney Swans on the ropes again. Everett, more competitive this time. Mundy can't steal it. Jude Bolton taken from him by Carr. To half forward. Mark Johnson went to slap it on, but Mattner gets back. Got his arms free. Handed it straight back though. Turnover back again. Rolled by Carr inside 50, but Kennelly was waiting for it. Wants to use the corridor. Kirk, Mattner, Vespremi, Jude Bolton. One-on-one's ahead of him. Heads to Barry Hall. Slips the handball out. Moore comes inboard. Vespremi. Kirk caught. Dumped. No free. Main scoops it up. Vespremi dives in with Duffield. Shammer. Main. Some poise here from the Dockers. Drum back to Peak. And now Hayden. 41-34. Pavlich. Possession number 16 for him. Duffield having a good term.
Now they've got Sandilands in the goal square on Grundy, so they've got a big mismatch there if they can get the ball very deep.
Called to play on and thumps it to that mismatch. Sandilands can't get there to mark and chop the arm of Craig Bolton.
They were 20 metres short with the kick. Had to sort of almost take on the man on the mark and get it long to Aaron Sandilands. He couldn't get out far enough to spoil effectively Craig Bolton.
Mattner takes off. Sandilands chased him, but to no avail. Hall back to Mattner. Great movement, Martin Mattner. Twice in that string of play. He hit pass options and Luke Brennan to line up. That was the first to Barry Hall. Here's the second. And an outstanding first season at Sydney, Martin Mattner.
Uses the ball so well, and Barry Hall's been able to find some space.
Luke Brennan thought it was beyond his range and read it well. Barry Hall for his third of the game.
Loose checking with the amount of numbers and the time that the Fremantle defenders and midfielders had to get back into that defensive part of the ground. They should have been out in front of Barry Hall to block that space.
And it's wide off the boot. Way wide. Just scrapes in for a behind. Still got two, but he's been exemplary tonight, Barry Hall. It's been a lot talked about, but Barry Hall this year, every time he sneezes now, it's scrutinised because of his record, but it's been big, bold, behaved Barry Hall tonight. Michael Johnson towards McFarlane. Gathers on the bounce. He's come back on. Thumps it long toward the square. And it's missed to the near side.
Hasn't had a big opening half. Just the 4 disposals for Luke McFarlane. Coming off a great game last week against the West Coast Eagles with those 5 goals.
Grundy, Kirk, Crouch, Goods. Perfection. Magnificent to watch.
Well, that's the other option. Stephen Dodd, he's certainly playing him from the defensive position of finger in the back, Lynchy, but when the delivery's that good and you're playing on an athlete like Adam Goods, pretty hard to cut off a lead like that, isn't it?
Yeah, not a lot you can do, but still, if you've got that spare man in defence, he's got to be very conscious of where the likes of Adam Goods and Barry Hall are.
That's what he has ahead of him. That one drifts a little, but he squeezes it in. He has 3.
He's been in good touch today. Adam Goods very dangerous, predominantly playing in the forward 50, but coming back into the side after that injury that has really restricted him for a number of weeks now. And just see a beautiful pass, and Adam Goods at full stretch took a clean grab in the hands and has gone back and slotted a very important goal for the Sydney Swans to bring them within 1 point of the Fremantle Dockers in what's been a very exciting first half of football.
3 now for Adam Goods. Amazing to think a 2-time Brownlow medalist was overlooked at the start of this year for the co-captaincy. 3 captains the Sydney Swans have, and Adam Goods overlooked. Jude Bolton thumps it inside 50. Duffield got there, but Mopped up by Bevan. Handball out. Moore. And driven into the turf, and no free by Drum. Get a ball in.
Yeah, I reckon he actually did it pretty well there, Marcus Drum. There's a good tackle there too. He turned him, Duffield. That was the important thing with the tackle on Bevan. He turned him nicely, and then he just didn't ride him. He tried to turn him.
Laying on him. Shammer. Craig Bolton and McFarlane. Oh, he threw him away. McFarlane's free. Both players thought it was their free.
Yep. And as Lynchie said, possessions few and far between for Luke McFarlane against an opponent the likes of Craig Bolton. They've got to try and get Pavlich one out, or one of their tall forwards one out.
Long thump. And everyone wants to go over their head, and it rolls through for a behind. And now they're trying to plan for the quick getaway, the Swans. See how Keefe peeling off. Didn't quite work for him. Ticked into time on, second term. Swans 4th spot on the AFL ladder as it stands now. They've lost 4 of their past 5 games, as we've said, and a tough run after this game. It doesn't get any tougher than next week. They have the reigning Premier Geelong, although they do have it at ANZ Stadium here in Sydney. Matner, centering kick to Jolly. Fremantle getting players back now. Matner. Crouch. Kennelly. He can't kick a long ball.
More in space.
Yeah, and he hits him. Perfect pass, and then Moore can't mark it. Palmer to Main. Turns back inboard. It's okay. Michael Johnson needs to hit the target. Might hit Kirk. He gathers 50 from goal, and he hits Goods, who can line up for number 4.
Well, only themselves to blame, Freo there. Michael Johnson had time, he had options, and I don't think he chose the best one. He tried to delicately chip one over the top into space for a teammate to run onto. You can see him summing it up here, and that's just not a great kick for Scott Thornton. Kirk gets on the loose ball, and as soon as you turn it over like that, there's going to be loose forwards everywhere. And this man, he's the red-hot goal kicker at the moment.
Already 2 in this term. To give the Swans back the lead. Goods has 4. And the Swans in front.
He's been a super player, and we've seen him struggle for form of late, but from all reports he has really struggled with injury and was rested last week, but he's come back into the side, and that's good, smart work. The vision of Brett Kirk to recognise the space in front of Adam Goods, and with a nice 25-metre pass bow to hit him, was great skills under enormous amount of pressure from the Fremantle Dockers.
Seesawing contest. Adam Goods, 3 goals for the term, 4 for the game so far. He's kept Sydney in it. And the ball up. Poor ball up, favoured Sandlands. Mundy with the handball over the top. Shammer. Hunted, pursued by Moore. Now caught and dumped. Throw. Sydney free. Some things going their way now. Jared Moore.
Clear it out, boys. Clear it out behind.
Goods is in the square. And it's headed in his direction. If he can get there for the jump, he does. Spoils it down. Kick off the side is across the face. And only a behind from Jack.
There you are, Barry. That's good.
Crouch has an injury concern as well, Jared Crouch. We know he's struggled this year as well. It's just his 2nd game of the year.
I'll tell you one good win for Freo in the first half has been the job of Ryan Crowley on Ryan O'Keefe. O'Keefe has just had the 1 kick and 4 hand passes, no impact on the game, done a terrific job on one of the best running half forwards in the game.
Sandlands to Tarrant. And so O'Keefe is in all-Australian form this year. Long kick from Tarrant towards Campbell, had the hands on it, couldn't mark it. Jack to Kennelly, and here's where they start. Kennelly, Bird, Jude Bolton, McVeigh, back to Kennelly, hands to Jolly. Trouble. Jolly gave it to his own man. Sandlands on the rebound. Crowley, magnificent tackle by Kirk, dragged him down. Palmer scooped it up. Johnson left it behind, gets the free.
Hold him.
Yep. I'll tell you the one thing wrong with that chain of hand passes through the middle for Sydney.
Involved a ruckman.
It involved a ruckman, Lynch. You hit it on the head. You've got all these running players linking up, and then a ruckman has to make a decision.
Mark Johnson to Mundy. Fly to Campbell with the one hand.
He's looked dangerous when the ball's coming quick to him, Campbell. And I think the turnover, we could take it back about 20 seconds to Reece Palmer's attack on the ball. He went in extremely hard and low, lower than the Sydney Swans player.
Look at the way he's setting up, side on to the goals, just to kick it around the corner.
Bit of a new technique used by many players nowadays.
Ooh.
Gee, how was that?
He's trying to bluff the umpire.
Oh, that's a goal.
It's
and he
there.
got it too.
Over the post for a goal.
I think he won the bluff there. I think there's no doubt about
He
that.
kicked it, he took off pumping the arm, but he was pointing at the goal umpire saying, yes, that's a goal, and he got away with it. That was very close, but that's a sensational mark.
It was a good mark, and they're just, once again, the rotations of the Fremantle Dockers forwards. They've got Grundy deep, and Campbell has taken a very good mark there, and he's worked his way through this nicely, and that is
Yep, to that
close.
angle.
Well, that angle
that's
looks
a goal.
all right.
Second game of the year, first goal of the year, and it's 49-48. They're in front again. Lee Colbert.
Jared Crouch, all right, boys. He's back, just played up a little bit, back spasm, had a little bit of a rub with some Denker rub, and he'll be back in the action soon.
Well, they're
Thanks
pretty
for the
confident, once again, with young Campbell. They've left him the whole forward 50 by himself with the Grundy matchup.
Palmer couldn't thread a handball out. It's tied up in the middle, and we'll get another ball up. Amazing, Jared Crouch. He played 194 games in a row without an injury worry, and it's been all injury interruptions from there. This is game 204. Been a tough time for him in the last couple of seasons. Ablett threads it out to Jude Bolton. Kirk, bounce pass to Moore, and wide, and way too wide. It's out of play on the full. Free kick to the Dockers. 3 minutes from half-time. Hayden.
It's a very good kick.
Thornton.
The only option he had, Scott Thornton running to space.
Tarrant. And got there.
He's working well, Tarrant. He's pushing long and hard leads and getting on the end of some nice passes.
Campbell again, the go-to man. Can't mark it this time and gathers his own work. Same kick that he had moments ago. Oh, different result. Or is it the same? As it was close to over the post. That initial one. Adam Campbell, some say might be being fattened for market at the end of the year. A Victorian boy from Hamilton. Said earlier he's a Kiwi, but his parents moved over to country Victoria to be dairy farmers only about 6 years ago.
Well, if they're fattening him for the market, he's starting to look attractive to the buyers.
He is. Jolly called to play on. And not a lot to play on too. Trouble here. Jude Bolton. Bird knocks it out. They get out of it. Bird. Roberts Thompson. Mabner. Craig Bolton. Heads wide towards McVeigh. Had the reach. Barry Hall to the pocket. On the move. Tough one to mark. Got it. No. Dropped it. Hands it down. Jack with the outside of the foot. The banana. Adam Goods to gather the crumb. Boundary line looming. Can't trap it. Ball in.
Didn't really want to use the right foot, did he, Kieran Jack? He thought, no, I'll just try and caress this one back with the left, and couldn't quite do it.
Both ruckmen go down. Umpire says no free. Duffield dumped. Ball up. A dangerous spot for a ball up here for the Dockers, who lead by 2 points. 1:32 to half-time.
Just saw them doing a great job at the clearances. A key stat, 20-10 in favour of the Dockers.
Kirk tried to shoot it up.
There's another.
McFarlane lending a hand of defence to the wing. Kennelly and Main. Ball beats both of them. A hand diving in O'Keefe. And that surely won't be holding the ball. will get a ball up.
Been some terrific commitment, and from some of the younger players in just attacking contested ball at ground level, where really risking the body, putting the body on the line. They've been terrific.
Sandlin's down to Crowley. A couple of touches. Now Brown. He's got the short pass. Bradley, one grab and the second.
Well, this has been a massive win for the Fremantle Dockers in the first half. Bradley just pinch hitting in the ruck, but now he's just gone forward, and they're rotating their ruckman out of the forward 50 because they're both very dangerous under the long ball. And Kepler Bradley has got the match-up on Craig Bolton now, and that's a very handy mark. And if he can go back and slot this one, Mark Harvey will be absolutely wrapped with this move to get him into the ruck.
For his third. And to stretch the lead to 8 points.
Got it.
He's nailed it in the shadows of half-time.
Oh, that is a fantastic effort. I mean, he's the best defender going around, Craig Bolton, and he had him in two minds. He started to go back towards goal, then propped and came back at the teammate with the ball. Bolton good enough to still get there and try and affect the spoil, but he got the second grab at it, Kepler Bradley. Eyes focused on the footy, and importantly enough, able to go back, and it wasn't particularly pretty off the boot. A little bit of instep on it. Got it left to right and snuck it in.
But a couple of times they've led by more than a goal, Fremantle. Earlier in this term, Sydney took the lead and stretched it out to an 11-point margin as Mark Harvey comes down to the bench. Fremantle led by 7 points at the start of this term. And it's now an 8-point lead. Kirk, as the seconds tick.
Oh, Matty Pavli's looking for a free kick. Couldn't believe he didn't get it.
Bird kicks toward half forward. Richards, good battle. Tarrant, boundary line. And time enough maybe for either side to clear from this ball in and get a mark inside 50. The seconds roll. Palmer. Pavlich. Boundary line. And that should just about do us unless someone gives a silly free kick away from this ball in. Be reasonably content, Mark Harvey. Half-time at the Sydney Cricket Ground. And the Sydney Swans spot in the finals for 2008 in a little bit of trouble. They trail at half-time in a game between 4th and 12th, a game that they would have penciled in for a victory, especially their fans would have, who've come here to the SCG to see a better performance than this from the Swans. The Dockers lead at half-time, 8-8-56 to 7-6, 48.
Quite extraordinary.
Jolly and Sandilands in the ruck again to start this second half. Bounce in the Jolly direction, he gets the clearance. High kick and hope to half forward. Dodd played for the free, didn't get it. Bevan, Dodd's man, got it from Hall, pushed on the kick. Ibbotson had it but lost it. He dropped it there in the tackle. Crowd wanted a free, didn't get it. And Goods ties it up.
Right, Footy not going anywhere now.
Umpire will ball it up.
There's a good hand on the back of the Swans players running towards goal from Stephen Dodd. Just to put pressure on to upset the shot on goal would have been a handy start for the Sydney Swans if they were able to kick that early goal.
Sandlands and Jolly. Sandlands, one hand, palm down, but to Mundy. McVeigh kicks smothered. Goods, Kirk, centering pass, Jude Bolton. Directly out.
Ryan out. Thank you, yeah.
Well, I think Garrick Ibbotson that was just sitting off him about 5 metres covering space, but see a man standing in the corridor all on his own. I just think Ibbotson needed to pay a little closer attention to him.
To cut the margin back to 2 points. That's what he has ahead of him. Perfect kick. Game on at the SCG.
And that all started with big Darren Jolly. We touched on him in his contest with Aaron Sandlands and Kepler Bradley in the halftime break. And he had the centre tap out and the centre clearance and got the ball inside 450. Then there was some good pressure and some smart thinking by Brett Kirk again. We've seen a couple of occasions in this term or in this game so far. He uses the ball so well in that forward 50. He's able to locate forwards and hit him with a nice pass.
Very interesting. We spoke about Luke McFarland unable to kick a goal in the first half. His opponent, Craig Bolton. Well, they've decided since he's not kicking goals, let's send him back to where he normally plays fullback, and he's on Adam Goods, Luke McFarland.
Jolly competitive again here. McVeigh couldn't quite get the clearance. Mundy throws out a handball, but to Matner. Threads his way through. McVeigh stolen by Palmer. And his kick just off the side of the boot. Nudges as he tried to kick it. And is that deliberate? No. Okay. They've been lenient on that tonight. 56 to 54.
Don't hold off the footy. Arms up, boys.
Sandlands reaches for Jolly and then reaches for the ball. Drum to Sandlands. Wobbles it inside 50. Craig Bolton stands his ground.
Good work from Grundy to hold out Kepler Bradley and allow Bolton to take that mark.
Precise kick. Jack straight down the corridor. Brennan's on the march. Hands to it and collects it on the third grab. Barry Hall calls back to the pocket. Goes short-ish. Bevan flies. Good fist. Knocked it down. Stripped of it was McFarland. Crouch keeps it in just. Bevan tucked into the boundary. Goods from the stand start. Couldn't mark it. McVeigh kicks it to his own advantage and it rolls out. Ball in.
Both Jared McVeigh and Adam Goods appealing for free kicks. Maybe both were a little bit stiff.
Sandlands and Jolly. Sandlands slaps it down. Swans, Jude Bolton to Crouch. Gets the kick away, but it's just wide. From the boot of Jarrett Crouch.
Thanks, runner.
He'll be happy to be having an influence. Still hasn't kicked one this year. Only played a couple of games. But he's back in it. McVeigh. In game 100. Jared McVeigh got a fist on it. Boundary line. Reece Palmer cuts it off. Good Shepherd. Hayden held up.
That's it, Heath. Hold
Bradley.
Fine, he's off the line.
He's played a terrific role, Kepler Bradley, hasn't he? Whether it's been pinch hitting in the ruck or as a forward.
Pavlich just pokes it in the Tarrant direction. Can't gather on the bounce. McVeigh got back. Jude Bolton.
And he's back.
Little push play on advantage here. Kirk got the handball over the top from Richards. Looks for O'Keefe and thrown after he tapped it out, which was interesting. Instead of taking possession, just threw it out in front. Yeah, he just dropped that. Tackled as he dropped it. And Fremantle fans will be calling for ball there. Grundy. Inside 50 to Moore flies and off hands. Barry Hall lopes in and rolls it through. He has three and the Swans have the lead back.
Gee, they botched that, Freo. They had 4 on 2. 4 on 2. They all went to the contest and somehow the ball spilled over the back to Barry Hall, all on his own. You'll see.
Like a talk here.
They've got numbers everywhere, Freo, and Michael Johnson left his man, and it's criminal to leave your man and not have an impact at the contest.
That was the thing. When the ball's gone to a 3-on-1 in the air, there just had to be more communication between the Fremantle Dockers, and Barry Hall made the most of that opportunity and got a very important goal.
I need that man firing to be a threat in September. I need him firing now to actually get there.
Hasn't it become a trend to kick those balls along the ground instead of just kicking a drop punt?
What was your goal, Jace? You'll go on those.
Barely kicked them on the run, Lindsay, let me tell you.
How many of your 2,000 did you kick like that? Main runs inside 50 and sends it wide. Mark Johnson can't mark.
But I think so many players are doing it, particularly from the boundary. And we even see players trying to do it when there are other players in the goal square that are going to smother it anyway. It's become such a fad in football to drill it along the ground to try and kick those goals.
And the ball in. Dangerous spot for a ball in, and Crouch runs it through. which has become a trend in football as well. Kennelly to himself. Roberts Thompson.
That's it, hold Roger.
Hayden did well, didn't overcommit with the attempt to spoil and allow Roberts Thompson to play on.
We have to switch it up here.
McVeigh spending a lot of time in defence after that splendid 6-goal game last week when he went head-to-head with Adam Kearney, one of the favourites for the Brownlow.
Well, this is reminiscent of the second quarter. The Dockers led at quarter time. Sydney came out, went bang, 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 but then the Dockers fought back. All of a sudden, again in the third quarter with a lead, Sydney have gone with the first couple of goals. Can the Dockers fight back again?
Palmer, McFarlane, Shammer. Kepler Bradley calling for a wide. Comes inboard to Pavlich, Jude Bolton.
Gee, he didn't need to do that either, Jude Bolton. That was a poor kick that was going over Pavlich's head.
Fair to say, I think Jude Bolton wasn't concentrating on the ball. He just wanted to make sure that he pushed Matthew Pavlich under it. He didn't need to. Another free kick.
Tarrant's free against Richards.
Now, last time we saw Chris Tarrant, he wants to give it off because the last one he kicked from 50 was the floater.
There's a bit of space for the lead from the square in between Tarrant and the goal square at the moment.
When he times the ball, he can get the journey, no problems, Chris Tarrant. But he's very much a confidence kicker.
He's got one. He kicked it to this end in the opening term. Gets some booze. Not bad off the boot, but it has held its line and he's got it. He's got two. Fremantle back in front.
Just heard the umpire talking about the free kicks, and that was a very important. Sydney Swans have come out in this early third term and responded with two good goals. So firstly, the Jude Bolton overcommitment against Matthew Pavlich, and then just a little hold against Chris Tarrant. Didn't seem to be a lot in it from Ted Richards, but when you get your opportunities, you've got to go back. And as Jace said, when he times it well, he's a beautiful kick on goal.
A little bit of luck going Fremantle's way, 63 to 61. Sandilands and now Everett back in the middle. Bird left it behind. Carr, Pavlich, Kirk. Oh, he dived in and got one high for his trouble.
Another one of those instances where a player goes in low and hard, cops a whack on the shoulder or the head. Kirk, that time on the head and got the free kick. Good work.
Bird to Moore. Had plenty of it. Left it behind. Goes back in. Gets it and misses. Across the face.
An opportunity lost. One of the Freo defenders, it was Michael Johnson, slipped over, and Jared Moore in the end could have taken an uncontested mark.
Quick kick in. Carr, who spent some time off with a slight injury to his groin. Okay now. Pavlich. Back to half-back.
Tarrant on a long lead from half-forward. Just needs to be out in front. That's a beautiful pass.
It was.
That's as good as it gets over long distances.
Off two steps as well.
To the pocket. Campbell. Big leap. Couldn't mark. Duffield to Main. Centering kick is nice to Palmer. 50 from goal.
Probably too far out, but they maintained possession, which was good.
Crowley and Johnson back in the square. They all go up. Ball thumped wide. Roberts Thompson gets there first and kicks it out on the full.
Well, it was going to be high risk. The bouncing ball just tried to volley it out of mid-air.
Ibbotson.
On that line there, Luke.
Didn't just miss either.
Good.
To the top of the square. Peter Everett, a successful thump through. And still yet to get an actual stat in this game, Peter Everett, but that counted for plenty.
Josh Carr, watching.
Craig Bolton.
You now.
Ablett.
High tackle downfield.
Free kick to Ablett, and in the end, it's worked in Fremantle's favour because it's held Sydney up and caused every player to stop, although Everett peels off, and he's got it. First possession coming up. Barry Hall gets there, makes the collision with McFarlane. Duffield turned goods inside out. Sandilands The 1-2, kick smothered. Everett again, having a good third term. Rolls it though to Carr this time. Mundy. Short. Campbell.
Good hands.
Central kick, but a poor kick. Bevan.
Not sure who he was looking for there because there were plenty of red and white jumpers.
Ablett, low trajectory, tough ball. Vives Primi. Can't lay the tackle on Thornton, nearly legged him.
Terrific handball though.
Hand to Peak is good, and his hand releases Drum, sends it wide. Main manhandled it a little, but out of play. We'll get a ball in.
Become a very much a handy player that can play at either end. Paul Bevan for Sydney can do a job up forward, can certainly do a shutdown role, and very reliable.
Well, he dived in over that Shammer, shuffled it out just in time.
Mine now, ball came out the back, boys. Go through, mate, go through. Go through.
64 to 62.
Come out the back here.
Kirk forced to do some ruck work against Sandlands, who had the reach. Ablett. O'Keefe to Kennelly. Good pass to Brennan. They're away here. Little handoff, 1-2. And now the long thump in the Goods direction. Got a one-on-one with Johnson. Goods, Johnson, Goods! He has 5! Swans back in front.
Once again, the Swans forwards push up the ground to compress the defensive half, but with the quick ball movement, Adam Goods and Barry Hall are streaming back towards goal. In the same sort of situation we've seen a number of times. I think 4 out of the 5 goals that Adam Goods has had. Ooh. And he's lucky that it come off the knee, but then went onto the foot. So that was a little bonus there for Adam Goods, but that is a very good goal. He's working very hard back with the fly of the ball and proving a big danger for the Dockers.
5 goals for Adam Goods, and he gets his 5th just.
A little nail biter.
Have a look at it. It hits the left knee as it goes down and then down to the boot. Oh, boy, that's about as close as it gets, because we all know off the knee would have been a behind. The shin's okay, but the knee is a behind.
And with an inch to spare as well from the ball up. Everett, handy again, although knocks it to Bradley. Throws the handball out in the Ablett direction. Everett peels off. If it bounces kindly, he's away. It's a long way down. He collects, kicks, Jude Bolton, and he's already kicked one from there this term.
Well, they're asking for 50 for high contact with the crowd, but that was just a shank kick from Peter Everett that came back into the corridor. We see Brett Kirk maybe working on the back, trying to stretch things out a little bit.
Or is that some Tibetan pose that he's trying to strike
just
there?
Focusing on what he needs to do when he comes back on. Luck's a bit of a fortune, that kick coming back into the corridor, but as you said, he'll be confident from here. Jude Bolton, after having kicked one from there.
Same kick, same spot, and same result. He extends the lead.
So here, big Peter Everett's been involved in this third term after not touching the ball in the first half. He's been quite handy in the centre stoppage area and around the ground. He's up to just the 2 possessions, but he got them in some good tackling pressure and some good tap-out work as well.
Swans by 10 points. Crowd starting to come to life now at the SCG. Massive game in the context of Sydney's season, and Bradley up against Everett, and Bradley wins. To half forward. Drum slept early. Ball back of the pack. Pavlich streams through. Didn't get a decisive kick away. Gets it back. Dragged down. Caught. Ball. Big decision that.
Big call, red hot. Matthew Pavlich was absolutely flying.
I tell you, that's a decision that could have gone either way the second effort. A good tackle. I've seen them paid for in the back.
Pretty good tackle, though,
Yeah.
I think. I think Matthew Pavlich pushed himself forward, and the tackle was around the waist. Centre clearances 6-3 in favour of the Sydney Swans in this third term, and I think that's a fair indicator. They've been able to stem the flow of the dominance of Fremantle out of that sort of situation.
Ball out of play, no free to O'Keefe. Crowd not happy. Thornton sees it out.
Well, that normally goes that way when you're having an ordinary night. Ryan O'Keefe probably should have got one for having the arms chopped, but Ryan Crowley doing a great job on him.
Jolly to Bird, manhandled, Moore slips it out. Oh, good collision. Jude Bolton and Thornton went hard. Hayden collects, backtracks, out of trouble nicely. Johnson, Thornton, who bounced up, sends it to the square. Campbell again, one-on-one, shrugs and goals, and reduces the margin to 4 points.
He's looked dangerous, Campbell.
He hit the roof.
He
You see
did.
that kick? That kick nearly went on top of the roof. It hit the front edge, the rim of the roof.
Another example of a player protecting the drop zone over the back of the contest, and this is a nice long kick. Understood where his forward was, and Luke Brennan was just held under the ball, and that's a very good mark from young Campbell. He's looked quite handy in this game. Hasn't had a lot of the ball, but 2 goals too.
Last time these two teams met, it was way back in round 14 last year. This is the first time they've met this year. And it was here, and it was a low-scoring encounter. They're just piling on the goals now, these two teams. Pavlich inside 50, Peake. Chance to get the lead back here, the Dockers. Peake can't keep it in. And we'll get a ball in as Kirk prepares to come back on. Now that game here last year, the last time they met, Sydney winning that one 11-23 to 9-7. Back into play. O'Keefe, Main, steals. And kicks across the face.
Sydney player went down off the ball. After that contest, it was young Moore.
He's on his own here. They're going man-to-man, Freo, but Campbell's gone and picked him up. But Grundy's got clear. That's a poor kick.
Grundy gets up. Mackner. This is from Sky.
Just come off the bench, Brett Kirk, but he hasn't been seen by Lewis Roberts-Thompson, who now sees him.
Heads
Says
up to
sorry.
Mackner. Vespremi. O'Keefe. Barry Hall. Got it.
He's got to move on quick if he gets the chance. Just didn't quite have the opportunity.
Well, he didn't go for goal and he didn't pass it. He kicks it out of play on the full.
Yeah, that's almost an afterthought. That's having a couple of bob each way, isn't it?
Yeah, well, if he got the ball on quickly, it might have been Moore was running towards goal, but when that opportunity dried up, he just had to go back and wait for something else to open up.
It's a rookie mistake, though. He's played 234 games. Ibbotson. Fremantle a chance on the rebound because of it. Josh Carr. Mackner. Two players who began their careers playing out of South Australia. And that was a good battle that. Both had to sprint for that ball. And Mackner's fist wins out.
I just think it's the wrong option, though, kicking to Josh Carr on the lead with a taller opponent close by. I don't think that's going to be in Freo's favour if they continue to do that.
Back into play, Pavlich. All tied up on 50. 74 to 71. Bit of smoke passing over the SCG, hopefully.
Yeah, it's just coming out of a big vent on the roof
Right.
to our left, Wayne.
Okay.
So we're not burning down. It's okay.
Apparently your hot dog's ready.
All four of them.
Ease up, you blokes.
Sorry, mate. It was just there.
Ticked into time on now, third term. Sandlands and Jolly. Jolly, but to Hayden. Thornton, Dodd, steps around. The one-step kick from 50 to the square. Swans have numbers back. Oh, he left it behind. Tarrant, he dished it up, but to Craig Bolton, who rushes it behind.
1 out, 4 metres.
few players starting to feel the pressure there in the goal square. A couple of fumbles by Sydney, a fumble by Freo when a quick pick-up could have resulted in a goal. This has turned into an enthralling contest.
That played at a very high tempo. Big numbers around every contest.
Kennelly short. Ablett. He's got the release player waiting for it. Craig Bolton.
Not too many options long.
Pokes it towards Moore. He's got a couple to beat. Thornton's fist is strong, but that's a win for Sydney. They had the numbers there, Freo.
Moore had Thornton and Sandilands in the vicinity, so that was the best option to get the ball over the boundary line somehow.
Jolly and Sandilands. Sandilands struck Jolly. Got a handball up. Shammer. Almost a turnover. Vespremi fell at the inopportune time. Hayden, Dodd, Shammer. Got the handball to Thornton. He thumps it long. Main in the square. Tarrant flies, can't mark. And it's through for another behind. They edge closer.
Some exciting football from Fremantle, linking with a chain of hand passes, and they had to be good in close, in tight. They were under pressure, but hit the target each time.
Roberts Thompson. Toward Barry Hall. Well read by Johnson. Attacked it, got a hand on it. To Hayden. Johnson. Oh, Barry Hall's dumped him behind play. It's a free. But not a bad result there for Barry Hall.
He was outnumbered, well and truly outnumbered, but...
I'm not sure how he can complain about that, Barry. Have a look at this. He grabbed him high and then threw him to the ground, and he's going, what's that about?
One more out.
But he held Freo up, and that was what it's all about. Hayden.
Well, that's 50.
Oh, no, surely
can't
not.
be 50. No,
Common sense from the umpire there.
he was nearly trying to play on.
Well played by Avon. Umpire Avon there. Mundy. Bradley.
Oh, dangerous handball to give.
Mundy, Goods. Tracked him down. Bradley got it back from Ibbotson. Got the hands free. McFarlane. Hayden. Oh, Barry Hall was hunting him down. The hand up to the middle, back to Mundy. The thump wide. Mark Johnson, Craig Bolton. Body on the line from Bolton, did well. Dodd the crumb. Hands to Bradley. Yeah. Terrible pass, Crouch. Here they go on the rebound. Barry Hall. He's got Goods inside 50 in a one-on-one. Short instead, you're right. Good option.
Got to go long quickly. No, too late.
To the square. Not a bad kick. Jude Bolton. Oh, they shove it through. Well played, Jude Bolton. Vespremi goals.
That was a good hit from outside 50 from young Vespremi, but more importantly, Jude Bolton, great work on the boundary line. He was in space in the goal square for a few seconds. Vespremi couldn't get it on quick enough. We'll just see Bolton. He'll go towards the goals now. And he was very deep here. He was 20 metres behind his opponent and just able to hold his position, allow the ball to go over the line. That's good work. McFarlane had to go.
Good contest this. And Pat Vespremi, a name you're going to hear a lot of, having a big influence now. Wearing Adam Schneider's old number 13 and making a name for himself. From the ball up, Jolly doing better as well in the second half. Crouch hacks it away. Jude Bolton chased by Duffield. Gathers, shrugs. Hands off to Kirk. Goods to the pocket. In his direction. Got it. Strong hands.
I tell you, let's not underplay the value of Jude Bolton in tonight's game either, particularly since half-time. He has been absolutely brilliant. He's got 2 third-quarter goals already, but he's getting some valuable possessions. Good contest possession here. He pushes away Duffield, and then just a little slick hand pass releases Captain Kirk, who finds Goods.
And Kirk hits the target again inside 50.
Never ever kicked 6 goals in a game, Adam Goods, but he has now. 6 big ones.
He hasn't travelled too far outside that forward 50, and you wouldn't want him to go much further up the ground because he's been extremely good touch. He had the week off last week. His body looks refreshed. He's enthusiastic, and they've fought back very well. Jude Bolton has been fantastic. His numbers are good, 19 possessions for almost 3/4 of football, but his attack on the ball has been fantastic. He's been one of the players in this third term to get the team back in it.
6 goals for Adam Goods. What a star he's been. Played soccer as a kid and only took up AFL as a 14-year-old because Horsham had no soccer club. Had no choice but to play our great game, and he has starred tonight. 86-73. Sydney have their biggest lead of the game. Free kick to Fremantle. 3.5 minutes from three-quarter time. Peak wide.
He broke well, Sandlands, but he didn't turn too well, did he?
Sandlands kick just over the head of Main. No free for an arm slap. Richards a wobbler. Kennelly made it okay.
And the one thing they didn't want, Freo, was Aaron Sandlands having to deliver the ball to a leading forward on his left boot. That's not the way they're going to win the game.
Kennelly back to Richards. And Ted Richards. Game number 98. Hands off. And Kennelly long to Goods again. Can't get there. Johnson cut it off. Caught. Got it up to Duffield. Shammer under siege at the moment, the Dockers. All the way back to Drum. Last line of defence. McFarlane.
Oh, Barry, you're right there. Thank you.
The star up forward last week, Luke McFarlane. Thrown back this week. And Ibbotson can seek the boundary.
Yeah, just feeling the pressure a little bit, Fremantle, trying to force the issue. That one from McFarlane, a low percentage drill pass along the boundary line. They've stopped a little bit of run, become a little bit insular in their free-flowing play that got them into the lead. They've just reacted in probably a negative fashion to the way Sydney have come out and started to take control here in the third quarter.
Drum, McFarlane, Tarrant, Johnson all combine. Get it to half forward to Campbell.
That was good work from Campbell. He ran away from Craig Bolton out of the forward 50.
And Carr, is that a free? Was pushed but no free. O'Keefe to Craig Bolton.
I don't want to sound repetitive, but why are they kicking in an open forward line to Josh Carr on the lead?
Barry Hall's free downfield. Kicks toward Primmy. Play on. Dodd.
Except he's got no options.
Bradley. 86-73. Biggest lead of the game, and the Swans have it. Pavlich, the man who needs to inspire them yet again. Ablett, there was a legging free. Play on. Jack's got it. Goods is on the move. Can't get there. And cut off by Drum, the loose man in defence. Palmer peels off. Held up by McVeigh. And a 2-on-1 works in their favour. Tarrant as the seconds tick. Thumps it long. Sandlands had the reach, but not strong enough in the hands. Kirk got it away. Sandlands, big hip and shoulder. That hurt. Bolton dives in. Mundy had it but lost it. Richards, well, it's hot in the kitchen at the moment. Three-quarter time can't come quickly enough. Roberts Thompson. 30 seconds and counting. Craig Bolton gets it up. It's on behind play. Swans player still down. They're down to 17. Jude Bolton with an arm slap. Play on. Vez Primmy went for the one-handed pick-up. Couldn't do it. Lays the tackle. Drum dragged it in. Got it out. Good tackle by Duffield. Drags down Bevan. And Jude Bolton the free.
Great contest. Both teams going very hard at the ball as Kieran Jack comes from the ground after that big hit from Aaron Sandlands.
Just to the hip, I think it was, of Sandlands, and what a hip it is. Dying second. And Barry Hall making his presence felt after the siren. Big third term for Sydney. Their season on the line, and they knew it. Came from 8 down at half-time to lead by 13 at the last change. 13-8-86 to Fremantle, 10-13-73. Thanks, Calby. Well, he comes from tough stock, Kieran Jack. I don't know how great a rugby player his father was, and that was a big hip and shoulder. All hip to the side of Kieran Jack. Adam Goods, you've just joined us. 6 goals to three-quarter time. Fremantle only 5 wins so far this year, so they won't match last year's 10 wins under both Chris Connolly and Mark Harvey, but they're playing to try and finish this season with a flurry. They've won their last 3, and this for 4 in a row up against the Swans, and fighting to keep their top 4 hopes and their finals hopes alive.
Loose players in defence for both sides, and I don't think that's going to upset Sydney now that they've got their nose in front.
Secondary bounce still inside the centre square. Pavlich down. Bevan going nowhere. Kirk a little push in the back. Some of those get paid, some don't. Kirk gets this one.
Right out, play on.
To Kennelly.
And he's the loose man for the Sydney Swans.
Wide kick and getting there more. Really had to make some ground.
That's it.
And for a while, even he thought he wouldn't get there. But he made it. Goods leads to the pocket.
Move it on. Whoa.
Thornton cuts that option off. About to get run down from behind. Pokes it. Jude Bolton can't make the spoil.
Where you are, right
McFarlane. Hayden.
Still me.
Held up on 50. Sends it to Tarrant from defence. And Tarrant takes it on the 3rd grab. Little chip. Crowley. Spoil good from O'Keefe. No, it wasn't.
Oh, that'll hurt Ryan O'Keefe because he's had to cop a couple of those. He can see the funny side of it. He can't believe it. He said, "You've let him do it to me all night. I do it once and I get pinged."
Move it on.
Crowley. High ball. Pavlich and Roberts Thompson. Pavlich.
Well, that's the man they've got to go to, but they need him taking those marks inside the attacking 50. He spotted a loose player.
Sent it high. Michael Johnson got down from defence.
Yep.
Barry Hall's man.
Couldn't go with him. He just out-sprinted Barry Hall.
And
Barry Hall says, "I'll take the mark. I'll own up to it."
And again, we see Matthew Pavlich able to pass the ball over 50 metres off 2 steps. That was a beautiful kick of the ball.
Now, will he kick it like a backman? That's the issue.
Well, he's 50-50 this year. He's kicked 4-4. Big kick, this. And it's not bad off the boot.
Did well.
He's got it.
That's always a great feeling for a full-back to just run back, have a chat to your opponent about you've been able to sneak up the field and kick a goal. He mightn't say too much to Barry Hall, but just have a look at this great kick from Matthew Pavlich, just to firstly identify that Michael Johnson had got into the space and he was good enough to execute the skill. And an important reply for the Dockers. This is a high tempo go. It's been a fantastic game so far.
Shouldn't have doubted him, really. One of the top few in the AFL for his efficiency hitting targets from defence, but goal kicking often a different story. 86 to 79. Jolly and Sandlands tie up. Jude Bolton from an outstanding 3rd term, started the final quarter well too.
Oh, brilliant.
Back with the flight, the one-hander.
That's not just skillful, that is damn courageous, because he didn't know what was coming.
He had a fair idea, I reckon.
Very open and never took his eye off the ball.
Barry Hall coming the other way, of all people. Duffield.
Gee, Pavlich uses the ball well, doesn't he? Always picks the right option, always hits the target.
Crowley can't half volley it. Slips it up to Mark Johnson. Plays on. He might go the journey here. Runs to 50. Sends it goalward.
Good hit.
Touched on the line. Just. Only just.
Hang on.
Former Essendon best and fairest, of course. Big game player.
Interesting
Premiership
decision.
player.
Interesting decision to punch it and not mark it.
Craig Bolton. 1 goal the margin. Kennelly. Jude Bolton.
5 metres.
Brennan's in some space.
Thank you.
It's been picked up now.
Lewis Roberts Thompson. Pavlich.
That's a courageous contest to kick to.
It is the best player in the Fremantle lineup. Held up.
No, he didn't. He didn't drag it in. Look who's got it.
Look,
Both dragged in at the same time. Both dragged it in.
There's a sense of humour, this umpire.
good umpiring too.
Yeah, it was.
Wait, hold
Jolly and Sandlands. Again, they hold each other. Little toe poke from that contest. Bouncing ball, Drum, gathered but went to ground with it. Bevan, O'Keefe gets free for a rare opportunity and nails it.
A little bit of emotion there coming out in Ryan O'Keefe because he has had the glove on him all night. Ryan Crowley has never been more than a footstep away. You can just see the Dockers going to ground here. Drum, he took the risk of going to ground, then he had to give it out, the quick hand pass, and he just had a metre and a half break on Ryan Crowley. You could see how relieved he was to finally have a clean possession, kick a goal and contribute, Ryan O'Keefe.
Been an outstanding player.
Oh, yeah.
Another All-Australian season for him this year, perhaps, Ryan O'Keefe. 118 games in a row now. Never injured, never been suspended. Outstanding player. From the ball up, Mundy slips it inside 50. Duffield slips the tackle, hands it up. Crowley might get one back on O'Keefe. It's high. It's gold. The instant reply.
Well, whatever you can do, I can do better. He has kicked a banana, Lynch.
He has done
no
better.
left foot, a high banana.
That's an unbelievable shot on goal. And I think it surprised a lot of his teammates as well. Good work from Reece Palmer again. And just with the outside of the right slipper, that's a fantastic shot on goal.
Doesn't anyone kick with the opposite foot anymore?
Not allowed to, obviously. Just for standing on balance.
He's enjoyed it too. Look at him.
I'm not ready. Hey, knock it off!
Here they are, side by side, the men who've kicked the last two goals in this game. From the ball up, Sandlands down. Mundy shrugs an attempted tackle, sends it inside 50. Big leap from Campbell, but he couldn't bring it down. Jude Bolton, outstanding again. Hands up to Crouch, missed the target. Jack dives in. Ibbotson went low, didn't get the free. Ball up.
That was the thing. Ibbotson went in lower than Jack. Jack was still with bent knee standing up, but Ibbetson's gone in very low here, taking possession of the ball. Good work.
Sandlands and Jolly with the tap out, but to Mundy. Kick around the body, but not around enough. It's double OF. Free kick to Grundy.
Just a little bit more time than he thought.
It's got McVeigh peeling off. It'll need to be a good kick. It's a terrible kick. McVeigh collects to Craig Bolton. He's got Moore peeling for him out wide. Hayden, Moore. Caught by Hayden, that's the leg. Gets a free. Plays on quickly. He'll go back.
Wasn't a bad option either for Freo. He had to stop him one way or the other.
Barry Hall. 80 from goal.
Adam Goods has got young Scott Thornton in the goal square. Sydney would be happy with that matchup if they could get it to him. Docker's getting big numbers back now to assist.
Just a kick and hope. Adam Goods rises, can't mark. Jolly almost crumbed it. Johnson and Jack. She had the ball and Johnson's leg was in there as well. Gets the free. 92 to 86.
Oh, this is a good option, a good run from Thornton here.
And he can go. He's got Tarrant. Hits him. Hands off. Hayden. Open forward line for Freo. Chip kick not good though. Bevan cuts it off and runs into Ibbotson. Mark Johnson caught. Duffield caught. Ball up. Magnificent contest this. 4th versus 12th on the AFL ladder. But Fremantle probably more in form.
Over the top, play on. Knock it out.
O'Keefe tried to get it out. Fremantle finished 11th last year with those 10 wins. But finish 11th again with a flurry this year. Can't make the finals. I can do some damage to Sydney in the next 14 minutes. Sandals. Chip. Almost but not quite dot. Nearly got a push. Grundy Not really a legal handball. Dodd pounces, hands it off. Pavlich gets the stab high, and the goal. Scores a level.
Another great snap-on goal. We've seen a couple in this last term. Matthew Pavlich has been able to push forward from the centre position that he's been playing, and that's great snap-on goal. We see he uses the ball so well. We know he's a noted goal kicker. He's kicked now 64 for the season. And once again, Fremantle Dockers bounce back, scores a level, and with 15 minutes to go in this game, it's going to be a great contest right down to the wire.
It's the man you said, Lynchy, needed to go forward and kick a goal. He's played 98% of the time in the midfield, found himself down deep and managed to kick that goal. Can he get another to get the Dockers over the line?
Sandlands with the big thump, 92 apiece. The Sydney chant rings around the SCG. Shammer, caught, ball up. Kirk having a spell. Everett in the ruck against Sandlands. Everett with the palm, perfect. Jude Bolton kicks inside 50. Johnson leads Hall. Half handled by Hall. Got the hand up to Hayden. Little fumble, but he gets the kick away. Campbell, almost. Gathers the crumb to Hayden. Tucked into the boundary line. Kennelly, one grab, not the second. Crouch hassles for it. Shammer dives in. They dive on him. Ball up.
I like the way the umpires have handled things tonight. There's been a lot of 50-50 where we've seen sometimes a decision could be paid. They've tended to let things go, which has been pleasing.
Everett got a hand on it, but Sandlands nearly stole it back through his legs.
Jude Bolton again on the bottom of the pack.
A couple more important clearances in this fourth quarter.
With Byron Shammer as well.
Sandlands got a hand free. Crouch.
Oh, is that
almost
deliberate?
to the boundary? Is that deliberate?
Absolutely.
It is.
He's saying there was a teammate that it went past, but it was never really intended for him.
He couldn't grab it, was going too quick.
Ibbotson long, Everett in the hole, had it spoiled away from him. Brown dives through, caught by Kennelly, wrapped up, brought down, ball up. But a dangerous spot this for Sydney. Scores level, and if you could pick a spot for a ball up Fremantle, this would be it. Sandlands with the reach. Everett gets it down, Carr. Can't break through. McVeigh does, through traffic. This will bounce close to the line as well. Richards gets there. Gathers. Not a lot to go to, knows it. Vespremi. Uses his agility. Oh, it's out of play. He's gone. No.
Oh.
Gee.
Terrific pressure there from Stephen Dodd. He didn't overcommit. He just kept corralling him towards the boundary line.
We've seen that paid before.
Yep.
Second game are getting the benefit of the doubt there. Bevan threw it out. Off the deck. Carr inside 50. The perfect pass to Duffield.
Well, sometimes the simple option is the best, and that's just getting the ball going forward. It's been hot. The pressure's been on. So hard to get clean possessions around the contest. So Josh Carr just said there's a loose ball there. How's this for a little stab pass?
Kick one tonight to give the Dockers the lead. They lead by a goal.
Well, they deserve the lead, Fremantle. I mean, it's been a great contest. Sydney have just bounced back on every occasion when they've been challenged, and Fremantle has certainly challenging them. But the scoring shots, it's right in the Fremantle Dockers' favour. It's 22 to Sydney Swans and 28 to the Fremantle Dockers, and they're in front by 6 points. Can they hang on? You would think that the Sydney Swans will come again. This centre clearance is very important. Peter Everett's in there against Sandilands.
98 to 92. Duffield has two. And the Swans are up against it again. Shammer inspiring them. Kicks it toward half forward. O'Keefe attacked it nicely. Hamill not so good. Of all people to give it to Pavlich, but the kick smothered. Bevan left it behind. Lays a tackle. Didn't have it.
Yep. Now,
Palmer.
use the ball smart. Oh, I was going to say, can they use it smartly? No.
Into traffic to Bradley. Thumps it along to the goal square. Everett, good hands.
Well, they just needed cool heads, Freo. They were in a terrific position there just to go back and see who was running into space, and they tried to rush it.
Grundy has Richards, but needs to be precise with the kick. He is. Richards plays on. And getting back in the hole.
Oh.
Bradley got one for too high anyway.
I reckon he's a little bit lucky, Kepler Bradley. The free kick was there, but he should have taken the mark in the first place.
Yeah, he should have taken the mark and it wouldn't have been an issue. Barry Hall would have been far too late. It was there, the contest was on, and just a little head-high contact, so a legitimate free kick.
Duffield.
Oh. Loose players around if they can just spot them.
Dodd to the goal square. Main's got two to beat. Climbs high but can't. And Ablett rushes what might be an important behind.
Another strange decision. They had Matthew Pavlich in the other pocket calling for it long, and they kicked to Chris Main. One against two.
7 points.
Players just need cool heads under pressure.
Roberts Thompson wide. Crouch. And 50. Against Mark Johnson. And that might be another 50. He can't. He's not allowed to block it. Crouch is right. You can't block a player while he's running the 50. There's one.
Not a bad way to get a good 50 either. Have a conversation with the umpire while you're running until he pulls you up.
Well, Mark Johnson bluffed him there. Game 2:05. Crouch. Kennelly. Wide to Adam Goods, who's got 6. And this would be a big number 7.
It was all a little bit too easy, given how long the ball had been held up for, just to run into space and be 5 metres clear. He can kick this Adam Goods. He's got to go back and have a shot.
Barely seen it this term.
He's just going to chip it up.
Centering kick. And the fly. Michael Johnson outmarks Barry Hall, who was fooled by that. Mundy. Docker's looking strong.
Got a wave of players running through here. Bradley's in support. He'll Shepherd.
Peak. Short. Bit high for Tarrant.
Needed to be a better kick.
Picked up by Peak. He can have a second go at it. Tucked into the boundary line. Goes for goal. Had a pick and sneaks it through.
That's a class finish. Sydney Swans players went to ground and allowed Peak, who remained on his feet, to run around, had plenty of time to steady up, albeit from the boundary line, but assess the situation and just slotted it. We see here, Sydney Swans players go to ground. Richards goes to ground here. I think it was Matner as well. And Peak's just taken a bit of time and a bounce, and that's a great finish and just stretched the lead out to 13 points for the Dockers.
One of the goals of the night, and Sydney's season is on the ropes.
Well, there'll be a few teams, Dwayne, sitting in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, thinking, gee, there's a double chance up for grabs.
Jolly in the ruck with the palm down. Jude Bolton off the deck to half forward. Hayden gets away, runs the 15.
Good confidence to take on the tackler.
Palmer can run. The leads come inside 50. He might go the journey. Thumps it along to the goal square. Mark Johnson's down there. Getting back Grundy. Took his own man out. Campbell tied up. And there'll be a ball up. Forward pocket for Fremantle. And we're about to tick into time on final term. Barry Hall having a rest.
Young Reece Palmer just got a glare from Matty Pavlich too, who gave him a terrific lead. He just ignored it and bombed it long.
Jude Bolton has tried his heart out again. Stolen from him. Mundy almost. The behind gives it back to Sydney, and Kennelly plays on. Danger.
Dangerous.
Roberts-Thompson shrugs the tackle, gets away with it to Moore. They're taking the game on at least. Handball not so good. Craig Bolton. Oh, Reece Palmer reached down, stole it back. He can send it to full forward again. Slips the pass. Misses Pavlich. Jude Bolton's been everywhere. The hand up. Jack. Richards. Into the corridor. Jude Bolton again. Adam Goods in a one-on-one. Pushed out of it. No free. Gets back onto it to his own advantage. And McFarlane takes it out.
Good contest again. Just saw at the other end of the ground. Reece Palmer once again went in very low and hard. Great contest, but just disposed of by foot, turned the ball over.
Jolly slaps it down to Kirk. Caught. Didn't really get a kick away.
He said he tried to get his kick. I didn't think that was a rule anymore.
No, Jolly kicks it towards the square and Crowley rushes it through. Well, either you kick it or you haven't
Correct.
kicked it.
Well, you hear that a lot, though. He made an attempt. That went out in under
I've
16.
got no problems with maiden attempt when the ball's held to you and you're trying to handball it away.
No, but with the disposed by foot,
you've got to make contact with the boot.
No one comes at Crowley.
Oh, this is a great option.
Time now in Fremantle's favour. Michael Johnson dropped the mark. Mops up his mess with a high handball. Ibbotson to full forward. Pavlich.
Well, if he kicks this, they'll get home. They finally gave him a spell forward, Matty Pavlich. He's played on ball nearly all night. He's had 26 possessions. Kicked a goal already in this last term, and you would think that if he can put this one through, and you wouldn't want the ball in anyone else's hands. It was the luck of the draw. He pushed off, he got front spot. It was a bit of a mongrel kick coming forward. But if he kicks this, you think they'd get home, Freo.
Stay in that line, no close, okay? Yes. 20 gone!
For a 6th win for the season.
Yeah, I've said 20
It would be 4 in a row.
He's coming in, settle!
And the ball
He's coming
in the hands of the captain.
Shanks.
He misses. And he has missed some kicks at goal this year to nail games shut. Matthew Pavlich.
That was a soda certainly by his standards, by any standards, but certainly by his. Just left the Swans with a glimmer of hope, but they've got to take some risks. They've got to play on. They've got to run it.
Matner to himself. Sends it long. Nice mark. Bird.
McVeigh sent out forward all by himself.
Richards to him, and he's got it. Oh, there's three players. Three players at full forward for Sydney, all on their own. They burst through the zone, and Goods kicks number 7.
What's happened there?
That was almost
Forward of centre, the Sydney Swans have got 4 players sitting by themselves. 3 of them were within 20 metres of the goal. It's amazing what must have happened with the Fremantle Dockers implementing an 18-man zone and pushing up the ground. But Goods was one of those players that held his position deep. There's Patrick Vespremi just putting on a bit of a block. Darren Jolly was there. Jared McVeigh was around. Good goal.
For the first time in his career, Adam Goods has kicked 7 goals in a game, and the margin back to 8 points.
See, now the Pavlich miss looks bad, doesn't it?
Everett. Clever palm down to Jack. They're inspired. Spear to McVeigh. Over his head. Bouncing ball. McVeigh gets it back from O'Keefe. Slips the tackle. Sends it long. And wide.
Almost looked real bad.
7 points. Quick kick in.
Well, there's still plenty of time left. The Dockers need another goal.
Ibbotson. Peak.
Just under 5 minutes on the clock. Way too early. Happy to eat into time when you can, but you've still got to try and score another goal to get the job done.
Sydney have been able to get one-on-one matchups across the whole field.
High kick. Pavlich with 2 to beat. Brown with the crumb. Boundary line looming. Caught. Out of play. And the clock stops. Sydney desperate for a win. They've got Geelong, then Collingwood, then Brisbane, their last 3 games. It's a tough run home. They could miss the finals altogether for the first time under Paul Roos. Jude Bolton got the handball up. Matner couldn't make something of it. Ball up. Barry Hall back on. Barry Hall and Adam Goods at full forward. Sandlands knocks it down. Jude Bolton again gets the clearance. Bouncing ball at half forward. There's Primmy with the shepherd for O'Keefe. Hands up to Kennelly. Goods on the lead. In the pocket. Feeds back onto it. Barry Hall gets there first. Scoops it up. Goods for number 8. For number 8. Oh. You betcha. It's a 1-point ball game.
How good's this game been?
He showed it to everyone then, Adam.
Oh, he did. Just added a little bit to the situation, and the Swans are back to within a point. Jude Bolton's been outstanding. His work rate throughout the day, he's up to 29 possessions, but once again, he touched the ball on 2 occasions in the build-up to this goal. Good work, good dish off from Barry Hall, and just have a look at the work put on it from Adam Goods, and just whittle the outside of the slipper again, Jace.
8 goals for Adam Goods. 107 to 106. 3:50 left on the clock, and have a look at this piece of magic.
Showed it to him, showed it to him, showed it to everyone in the crowd, and then just said, I'll finish it off.
We'll do one of those.
The crowd who've been roaring are suddenly hushed. From the ball up, Sandlands. Now the chant rings around the SCG. Peake knocked it to Dodd. Caught by Moore. Throws it towards Everett. He can't snaffle it. Kick around the body by Brown. Bouncing ball. Tarrant beaten by the bounce. Richards. Kirk. Roberts Thompson. Everett if he wants him. He'll thump this long. It's what he likes to do. Kicks to Hall. Front spot, Johnson.
Terrific, Michael Johnson. He has fought back very, very well on Barry Hall.
What about how close the Fremantle Dockers runner got to Peter Everett when he was about to kick the ball on? It's almost like he was about to smother it.
Nearly laid a tackle.
Shammer. Campbell. Paid the mark. Both runners out there in the congestion. You can see in the yellow on your screen.
Turnover.
Oh, big spoil, Jude Bolton. And the throw out towards Jolly. They tie it up on the wing. Comes out to the back. Drum beaten for it by Bird. Hands up to Craig Bolton. Barry Hall's on the lead. He's in a 2-on-2. Michael Johnson. Barry Hall. He can tie the scores. Oh, gives him the lead even better. Unbelievable. Barry Hall goal. He has 4. Sydney in front.
That's a sensational comeback. When you think 2 minutes ago, at the other end of the ground, Fremantle were about to blow the game apart. But just a little shove from Barry Hall to push his opponent under the ball, and the outside of the boot, as you said, they just don't like.
That was a banana that turned into a drop punt.
Have a look at that.
That was an extraordinary kick. Yeah, little hands in the back.
Got away with it.
Away.
One in each quarter, 4 goals for Barry Hall. And after Matthew Pavlich had a kick to seal the game for Fremantle, the Swans have hit back from the palm down. Mundy, this one's not done yet. Sandlands dives in, throws it out. McFarlane tapped it further on. Drum to half forward. Palmer almost. Hand up. Ball up. 112 to 107. 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. Paul Roos coaching from the box tonight.
Adam Goods has taken himself down into defence, but now McFarlane, his opponent, pushes forward as well. Good move.
Mark Harvey barking instructions. Sandlands thumps it inside 50. Tarrant to Peake. Kick one from there moments ago. Big fly McFarlane gets the kick away. It's the post. They've had their chances. Can Sydney hold this ball for 2 minutes?
I think they can. And Craig Bolton's in an enormous amount of space by himself now. They'll use him.
Freo got a man up.
They have to man up, and they haven't. Grundy's in space now. This is very poor play from the Fremantle Dockers. Bird's running into space now. Oh, not good enough for the Fremantle Dockers. They had to man up. They had time to man up.
Now they've got the space behind them to use.
And they haven't manned up. They haven't manned up backwards.
Craig Bolton's back.
Bird sends it long to a contest. Barry Hall's down there. Michael Johnson too. Moore and Hall almost hold it together. Moore slips it out to Goods, the star of the show. Oh, holding the ball.
Here's the chance.
That wasn't a
Here's
good
the
kick.
chance.
Shouldn't have gone long to a contest.
Play on advantage, Dodd. Takes them on with a bounce. Gets the kick away. Peak inside 50.
Oh, well
Big
done.
mark over the top. Bevan.
He's done that three times tonight, gone back with the fly of the ball, Paul Bevan.
That is
Fantastic courage.
game-saving.
Amazing mark. Maybe a season-saving mark for the Sydney Swans by Bevan.
Well, I don't think they'll make the same mistake here and go long to a contest. They'll just wind this clock right down. They'll use players behind the ball if that does pop up. Looks like Fremantle have got one-on-one, so they may be forced to go long here.
Crouch thumps it long. Big contest. Roberts Thompson.
Oh, and Matthew Pavlich's opponent there, who's worked hard. Pavlich has been super tonight.
He can go
Hung
back
in
to
there.
Crouch. He can go back if he wants to.
Well, he should do. Well, that's not
He
going to be
does.
15.
Oh, gee, that was 15, but the umpire said no. Crouch short. Kennelly. Half volley. Turnover.
Still a
Seconds
chance.
tick. Still a chance. Pavlich. He can make amends. Can't mark. Jude Bolton.
Oh, well done.
Hands it off. Crouch. Seconds continue to roll. Kirk.
They got
Well, Fremantle are like Stonehenge. They're famous for their ruins, and they've ruined another one. Sydney come from the clouds to win a thriller and keep their season alive.
Now, that was a super game. It was played at high intensity. Fremantle Dockers were very good for most of the night. They found a way to lose the game in the end, but the Sydney Swans